Hello, everyone. Welcome to another informative episode of the Real IAI Podcast. I'm your host, Jan LeMay. First things first, I want to make sure everyone knows that the IAI conference is approaching fast. It's coming up in August. We're recording this April 6th. The hotel room block is currently open, so you can go online and make your reservation at the hotel. And registration for the conference is going to open really soon, so keep an eye out for that. I know that all of our volunteers and our staff are working hard to make this one of the greatest conferences ever, and I really hope to see a lot of you there. It's going to be great. Also, another announcement, I want to invite members to serve on committees, and it's a great way to get more involved in the organization and serve your peers in the organization. And starting in September, we'll be making committee appointments for a 12-month period. And there's a lot of committees to serve on, a lot of variety, and there's something that is going to meet your passion, I'm sure. And I often say if three of us fell out of an airplane at the same time, we would form a committee before we hit the ground. We've got so many committees. And I just want to run down a short list of some of the opportunities in those committees to serve. There's the Johnson and White Memorial Foundation Fund Advisory Committee, the Policy, Procedure, and Documents Committee, the Student Advocacy Committee, Forensic Management Committee, the Membership Committee, the International Aspects Committee, the Division Interaction and Affairs Committee, the Governmental Affairs Committee, the Conference Experience Committee, the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, and lastly, starting in September, we're going to have a committee that's going to be founded or established to work on resiliency, find ways that we as an organization can help our members with a lot of the stress and the trauma that we're all exposed to on the job on a regular basis. So that resiliency committee will be appointed and working on those issues as well. So lots of opportunities to serve within the organization. If you're interested in serving on a committee, reach out to us at the Real IAI Podcast at theiai.org, and we'll see if we can get you plugged in and serving. That would be great. All right, I have a guest host today, and she is the first vice president of the Texas division. Her name is Britney Webb. Hi, Britney. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. Now, you're in Texas, and I got to confess, you probably heard all the Texas jokes before, but I went online looking for a Texas joke that I could zing you with. None of them are that funny.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I'm going to spare us both the humiliation. We'll skip the Texas joke today.
I have Great Danes, not horses, so if that was your joke, we could go down that road.
Well, big dogs, everything's bigger in Texas, right? Great Danes. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, there it is. There's your obligatory Texas joke. Speaking of conferences, you're the conference planner for your Texas Division conference, and that is coming up really soon.
It is. It's going to be June 10th through the 14th.
Okay. Where is it going to be?
It's in League City, so that's southeast of Houston, and it's really close if anyone is interested in coming to Houston Hobby Airport. It's about 20 miles from there.
Oh, easy. So easy to get to.
Yeah. And it's right on the harbor. It's really beautiful. We're really excited about this conference this year.
On the Gulf of America?
Yeah, I guess so. Sure.
Yes, it is. Okay. How many attendees do you usually get at your conference?
The last couple of years, we've had anywhere between like 100 to 125.
Okay. So it's really well attended.
Yes.
So opportunities to network with lots of people.
Definitely. And I mean, we all know Houston's the biggest city in the state, so we're going to be very fortunate to have people from Harris County, Houston Forensic Science Center. It'll be right down the road from them. So we're going to have a lot of very big cities that have a lot of crime and are able to teach us a lot of stuff at our presentation. So we're very excited about that.
That's great. Do you get a lot of student attendees at your conference?
We have a UK student. So they're professors. This will be, I think, the third or fourth year they're coming.
Wow.
They used to just come when we were in Austin, but now they've been going every year. So they're going to do some student presentations, and we're really excited. It depends on the year, but they're usually between 10 and 25 of them.
That's incredible.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, and I always advocate for students to go to division conferences because, it's not what you know, it's who you know, and that's a great way to meet employers in your area. So yeah, it's really great that students can go and network with people and find job opportunities that way.
Yes, agreed. It's who you know.
Yep, for sure. What about vendor support at your conference? What do you have going on there?
We still have opportunities for vendors, but so far, Foster and Freeman and AMP Software have signed up to provide breaks during our conference.
Okay.
NEC is going to provide a lunch. Foray is going to provide the food for our vendor night. And then we're
Wow.
going to have a 3D photo booth on vendor night that's sponsored by G4 Geomatic Resources. So
Oh,
we're really excited about how this is all shaping up.
yeah, that's tremendous support from the vendors. That's great. And our conferences couldn't happen without support from vendors and sponsors. So sounds like you guys have it dialed in. That's great. Um, what about your educational program? How is that shaping up?
We are hopefully going to be releasing the full presentation list this week. That's our goal. But we have fingerprint classes, digital forensics, because that is definitely something that has grown a lot in the
Oh yeah.
last couple of years. We're going to have an ATF explosive dog, so I'm really excited about that. Lots of case studies. If you ever heard of Chelly Rossi, she's amazing bloodstain expert. She's going to present a case study. We're going to have updates from the Texas Forensic Science Commission, which in
Okay.
our state is really big. They are definitely like OSAC, but for Texas, and we want to make sure we're following all the standards when we're doing our work. Something I'm really excited is we've never had keynote speakers, and we're actually going to have one to start off Wednesday during our opening ceremonies, and then we're going to have one on Thursday. The one on Wednesday is Deputy Jennifer Morris. She was unfortunately the victim of a really terrible crime, but
Mm.
she's going to talk about that and then how that led her to become a deputy.
Oh
And it
wow.
also led her sister to get into forensics. So
Hmm.
we're excited about that. And then on Thursday, we're going to have an exoneree. He spent 10 years in prison for a murder that he did not commit. And so he's going to discuss that. But GSR and eyewitness statements were what we're kind of used to convict him. So,
Oh wow.
yeah,
That's incredible. God, I wish I could be there. I'll probably be at your conference next year. Hopefully I'll see you there. But that sounds amazing. I'd love to be there this year.
we're excited.
I bet.
But yeah, the schedule should be out this week and on our website. So.
And what about registration? Is that open?
Registration's open, hotel registration's open. The hotel is giving us the per diem rate, and even so our vendor night is Wednesday night, which is the first day of our conference. And then we on Thursday, we're in League City and there's a boardwalk in Kima. And so we're going to provide a charter bus in the evening to take people to and from the hotel to the boardwalk if they're
Oh
interested in
man.
it. So we're trying to keep everyone wanting to come and enjoy their time
Yeah.
while they're
And
learning.
events like that are where people really do the networking, they make connections, and that's such an invaluable component of these conferences. So, God, sounds great. You guys have it all figured out.
We like to learn from all our other state divisions and IAI and just
Hmm.
keep trying to grow and get better and,
Yeah.
provide what we can for the people, local people and people that want to travel to come see it.
Well, let's tell people the address of your website.
It is tdii.wildapricot.org.
Wild Apricot?
Yes.
What is that?
That is, I guess, who our website is sponsored through.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Well, we have a guest waiting for us in the green room. Should we bring her in?
Let's do it.
All right. Her name is Kelly Ayers. She is the IAI division rep, and she's also chair of the Division Interaction and Affairs Committee. Hi, Kelly. How you doing?
Hi, good. I've
That's
found it really official being in the green room, so
yeah.
feel fancy.
Yeah. Well, you were very demanding. You insisted on just brown M&Ms in the green room,
Yes,
so
snacks
and champagne, brown
beverages.
M&Ms and
Yes,
champagne.
yes. It's 10 o'clock
Very high
here,
maintenance.
mimosas.
Very high maintenance.
So before we get started, I thought, Brittany, did you want to mention anything about the push for membership that the Texas division is doing?
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah,
You're
so
welcome.
I appreciate it. This year we're trying to something new. We'll see how it works. But if you know Texas IAI member, they can sponsor your membership for the year, and so you would have free membership at our in our division for the year.
Love that.
And
Brilliant.
Kelly made a post. Kelly, you made a post on LinkedIn, right?
I did,
About
and
it?
I sent the information out to all of the divisions as well, because Mingo had offered his name to be a sponsor. If somebody didn't know anyone else, he said, you can use my name. So
He knows a few people.
yeah, he knows a couple.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Kelly, you're the division rep. Explain to us what that means. What are your duties as the IAI division rep?
So the division representative is an appointed position with the IAI. In 2019, I was considering maybe making a run for the board. And then I saw that the division representative position was open. And I just thought, that's a little more my vibe than I think the board of directors. So I put in, and I was fortunate to have been appointed the division representative. And so I've held that position since 2019. And what I do in that role is I serve as the liaison between the parent body of the IAI and all of the charter divisions. So I try to facilitate that communication between the larger organization and then all of the divisions that are out there worldwide.
Okay. So sounds like a busy position.
It is. So I had a lot of grand ideas when I first got that position, and we had 42 charter divisions at the time. So I decided that I really couldn't do that alone. So when I write my report to the board of directors every year, when you have your meeting at the conference, that year I requested to have a committee because I wanted to try to have some help to be able to fulfill all the things that I was trying to do. They did create a special committee in 2021. And then in 2022, it became a standing committee, and then I was the chair. So now I do have a committee of folks who have assigned divisions that can connect and engage and kind of spread the love a little more than I could do by myself.
Makes sense. Who is that committee composed of? Who are the members of your committee?
So right now we have
Jason. You don't have to name. You don't have to name them, but just
just generally who they are.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
how are they
Jason,
involved in the
everybody knows
organization?
Jason, so we got his name out there. So we have several board members that are on the committee, and then we have two other. One from California, who's involved in the California division, and then one from the Rocky Mountain division, that are all very involved.
So if someone wanted to serve on that committee, what would their responsibilities be?
So since it's a relatively new committee, we're still evolving, and we're trying to say, okay, well, what worked last year? What can we change? What could we do better this year? But primarily when you come onto the committee, we talk about maybe divisions that you're already closely engaged with, that you have a lot of connections with, that you've already worked closely with, who you're regionally close to, and then we make assignments. So then everybody on the committee has like 5 or 6 divisions that they're assigned to, and then they serve as that liaison to that smaller group of divisions. Okay. So then I, this year, decided that I would do all of the international divisions, so then I could keep our international representative in the loop. And there was just that one stream of communication with that. And then everybody else on the committee has their US divisions.
Do the representatives have to go to their division's conferences, or how do y'all decide that?
So they don't have to. So we do have different ways that we can assist the divisions. One of those ways is through financial assistance. So there is a designated pot of money that the IAI has to support divisions. So what we did in order to distribute that was to start an application process. And that's had a few iterations, but right now we have an application process, and there are 3 different application deadlines throughout the year. We started that this year. So the first deadline was February 15th, excuse me. And our second deadline is May 15th. So that's coming up. And then we have a third deadline on September 15th, because what we found is that when we just had rolling applications, a lot of the divisions who were really on top of things applied early, and then our money was gone. And then that kind of left people out who kind of postponed their activity until later in the year. So we wanted to kind of spread that out a little bit. So the goal is to help at least 2 divisions financially each application period. And then we can also come to the division. We do have some travel assistance that's budgeted. It had been for me as the division representative, but I decided that I wanted to share that with my committee so then they could maybe go to their division conferences. So we do have some that have attended to have an exhibit table, so we can be a vendor. So we can exhibit on behalf of the IAI at these division conferences. We could do a presentation about the IAI and the benefits of membership at the conferences. We can sponsor social events, or we could just say, here's a check to help support whatever your financial need is.
So there's a lot going on from your committee in different ways to support the divisions.
Yeah, we're trying to find different ways, and we're always open for feedback. So if divisions have other ideas of how we might be able to support them, we're always open to hearing that feedback. I do send out, as the representative, I send out the annual questionnaire every year, and there's a part that says, if you have any ideas, if you have any suggestions, lay it out. We want to hear it, because then I'll read through all of those. I'll give any feedback to the board. And then we'll discuss it as a committee and see if there's anything that we can change to help. So we do have that money. We also have, so if you go to the IAI website and you go to the committees and you go to the standing committees, you can see who is on the committee. So it's just the membership. But if you go to the About Us tab, there is a link to the divisions, and then nested under that is a page for our committee. So on that page, you can see our mission statement, what our goals are, who is on the committee and what divisions they're assigned to. So if you need to know who your liaison is, that's on that page. We also have a link to guidelines on how you can have an exhibit table at the parent body conference. We have some guidelines if the division would like to host a conference. And then we also have a link that has some guidelines on if a division wants to plan a joint conference with another division. So we do link some resources on that page as well. And we can throw out, I had a division just yesterday reach out and say, have you ever thought about highlighting division merchandise? And I said, maybe that's something that we could highlight on our page too. New Jersey has these great items of merchandise for sale. Here's the link to purchase if you're interested.
Yeah. Maybe links through the IAI store on the website.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways we could do it.
I'm sure,
I haven't even worked through it yet, but that was just something that somebody threw out at me yesterday.
Yeah, I like that. If divisions want to, go ahead.
Sorry, I was like, there's lots of coin collectors, and I know some divisions come up with some really creative ones. So that would be a really neat thing to be able to get on the IAI website.
Yeah, I saw the Rocky Mountain divisions. They're a new one. That's a pretty cool one this year.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. I saw it too, and I'm excited about that one. So if divisions do want to apply for that financial assistance, do they go to that same place on the IAI website? Okay.
Yes. So there's a little funding assistance header, and then there's just a little blurb about it, and then there's a link to the application. And then that gets submitted to Glenn Calhoun, and then he gets the submissions, and then he forwards them to me for the committee to review and make decisions.
Okay. So it sounds like it's easy to apply for that.
I just applied. We just found out about it this year, Kelly. So whatever you're doing to get that info out got to our secretary, and we applied this year. So it was a very simple process to do.
Yes. And then I get it. So Texas did apply early, but they didn't need their money until June. So based on that deadline, we were able to give more divisions assistance in that first application period and say, Texas, you don't need yours until a little bit later. We're going to save yours until we make the decision for the second application period, because we did get several that applied up front in the first. So I think if we can spread it out a little bit, we'll be able to help more.
That's great. Now, I know the leadership in the divisions is changing constantly because they do elections every year and people are moving up through those positions. How do you know who to stay in touch with when the division's leadership is always changing?
So that goes back to hoping that I have the updated contacts to begin with, because that's kind of where it all starts and it snowballs from there. So then every year when I send that questionnaire, then I get the contact information for whoever the secretary is and whoever the regional representative is. And then I keep a spreadsheet of those contacts. And if anything changes during the course of the year, then it would be up to the division to please let somebody know that the contact has changed.
Yeah, good.
Because now that I have a committee and you have fewer divisions that you're responsible for, I've asked them to also maybe take the time to like search the websites and see if maybe they updated the website, but they forgot to tell us or something. So we can put a little more effort into trying to find out who the correct contact person is.
Yeah. And I know historically there wasn't always great communication between the international and the divisions, and it sounds like all of that is really improving. So I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah, I really feel like people are not hesitating to reach out with questions, even if it's something that I can't directly answer. I still make an effort to try to find out and connect them with whoever they need to be connected with. I try to be as responsive as possible. I usually get to it in a week at the latest, because sometimes it's just, it's just got to wait till my day's off. So, yeah, I'll respond to everybody. If you haven't heard anything yet, it's coming.
But it's also nice that it's not all on you. You've got a committee now and you divide and conquer. So
Yes.
it's not all one person's responsibility.
Correct.
Yeah. Great.
So
Well, I
When
think
do you
that's about
sleep, Kelly?
What's that?
I said, when do you sleep?
Well, I didn't. I have not had a wink of sleep.
Well, no one would ever know.
No, well, good.
Yeah.
It's the blur. It's the blur. What was I going to say? See, I'm tired now. I can't even think where I was going with that. I was going to say I have seen a tremendous improvement too on how divisions are wanting to support each other. So, I'll get conference announcements and then I'll send them out to all of the divisions, and they'll share it on their page or they'll share it on their social media. And, divisions will send a question to me, and then I might put the question out to all of the divisions, and then they'll start communicating with each other. So it's been really nice to see a lot of the mutual support among all of the divisions too. I think that's
great.
been great.
I really like seeing all the divisions at the IAI conference, like them having booths and stuff. It's really neat. And you find out information where their conference is going to be that you wouldn't have known previously. So I can tell the push for that has been successful.
Yeah.
And those, go ahead, Kelly.
Well, I was gonna say I have quite a broad network on LinkedIn too. I don't share anything on other social media platforms related to the professional stuff. So I try to stick to LinkedIn, but if anybody has any announcements or anything that they would like for me to share that then can maybe be shared by somebody else, I'm more than happy to post it on that platform.
Yeah. And I was going to add that the booths at the IAI conference for divisions are free. Divisions don't have to pay for those. So they can set up a booth, they can promote their conference, they can sell their merchandise, and it doesn't cost them anything to have that booth at the conference.
Yeah, and like I said, there's a link to that guidance from our committee page on the website.
That's incredible. Well, thanks for all the hard work you and your committee are doing.
Yeah, well, we also have the 5K coming up.
That's right.
Yes, so we did. We have a committee member who is very passionate about doing the 5Ks, and he coordinated one and got it initiated in Omaha. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there. I ended up with COVID right before the conference, but I said it sounded like everybody left with COVID, so I guess it really wouldn't have mattered. But we had our very first 5K in Omaha, and it seemed to be a really well-received event. And we've been trying to find a way to have it since then. There have been some logistical problems, with other venues, but we are going to have another one this year in Orlando. If you go to the conference tab on the parent body website, one of the drop downs is the 5K run walk. You can go there, and that's where you can register. It's $35 to register. And you sign a waiver, and there will be more instructions to follow about how to get your bib and how that's all going to work at the conference. But registration is open, and all of the funds that come in, minus whatever we might have to pay out for the event, will be put in the pot to assist divisions.
That's great. Yeah. Well, that's about all the time we have. Britney, you have anything else you want to add before we say goodbye?
No, I'm just thank you for letting me be on. If anyone has any questions, please reach out to me or our division secretary, and we'd love to get you more information. We'd love to see you at our conference this year. And thanks for taking the time to let me be a part of your co-hosting.
Yeah, I'm excited about your conference. I wish I could be there this year.
Yeah, Texas does a great job. I've been to a few. They're really well done.
We always have fun with Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly, what do you want to? Anything else you want to add?
Well, the only thing for me, just again, watch out for that the annual questionnaire, because that is how we keep our information up to date.
Okay.
That'll be. I usually send that out at the end of May, early June, and you get about a month to get that back to me, so I have enough time to compile the information for my report. And if anybody's interested in serving on the committee, Mr. LeMay here is going to be the incoming president, so he will be making the appointments. If you'd like to reach out to me or Jan to express your interest, we'd be more than happy to consider it.
Yes, if all goes according to my evil plan.
Yes.
Well, if anyone has suggestions for future episodes of the podcast, or if you have questions you want to ask the IAI, we'll answer those questions on the podcast. So reach out to us at the Real IAI Podcast at theiai.org. If you're a vendor and you're interested in sponsoring an episode of the podcast, you can also write to us at the Real IAI Podcast at theiai.org, and we can share with you information about how we can help you promote your goods and services. Our producer extraordinaire. Oh, go ahead.
We're still looking for sponsors for the 5K. Since you mentioned that too, we can throw that in there.
Yep. So just reach out to us at the podcast. Our producer extraordinaire is Steve Yoder. I'm your host, Jan LeMay. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, take care of each other.